Welcome to LinesToGo installation videos. Today we will be removing and installing brake lines on a 2008 Silverado using LinesToGo part number BLC-218-SS. While this particular installation is being performed on a 2008 Silverado, this set of lines will also fit the following year, make, and models as shown in your screen now. LinesToGo lines are made using original equipment end forms and fittings that are CNC bent for an easy and precise installation. We have also upgraded to stainless steel braided Teflon hoses for rust protection and to prevent surface fouling. These have an unlimited shelf life and anti-static PTFE liner. This set of LinesToGo lines are made from 304L stainless steel for rust resistance that exceeds OEM standards. Tech tip: disconnect the battery before working on a vehicle to reduce the risk of shorting out the battery on tools or lines. LinesToGo lines are made with a sectional design for easier installation. We also use color-coded unions on our sectioned lines. Just match the colors of the connections. Make sure to depressurize the fuel system before starting the installation. Tools required: 8mm, 10mm, 13mm, 14mm, and 15mm wrenches, 7mm, 10mm, 13mm, 15mm, and 22mm sockets and ratchet, Phillips and flat blade screwdriver, cutting pliers, drain pan, jack and jack stands. The level of difficulty for this installation is considered to be easy. To depressurize the fuel system, locate the fuel pump fuse using your owner's manual and remove it. Start the vehicle and wait for the engine to stall. Make sure to replace the fuse once completed. One or more of the lines included in this set may have a shipping bend or twist. To remove a shipping bend, straighten out the section of line located between the two tags labeling the shipping bend. To remove a shipping twist, wait until the original line has been removed from the vehicle so you can match the new line up to it. Bend the line between the two tags labeling the shipping twist until the angle matches the original line. Start by disconnecting the battery using a 10mm socket. Raise and support the vehicle, and using a 22mm socket, remove the right front wheel. Remove the right front inner fender by removing the plastic push clips using a flat blade screwdriver. Remove the screws at the top and rear of the fender using a 7mm socket along with a Phillips screwdriver. Next, remove the bolt at the front of the fender using a 10mm socket. Remove the inner fender from the vehicle. Using a 15mm wrench, remove both threaded fittings from the master cylinder. Using a flat blade screwdriver, remove the brake lines from the plastic brackets inside of the left front wheel well. Remove the brake lines from the plastic brackets along the frame. Underneath the vehicle, remove the two threaded fittings from the front of the ABS module using a 15mm wrench. Using a 14mm wrench, remove the three threaded fittings from the top of the ABS module. Remove the two lines going to the master cylinder from the vehicle. Using a 13mm wrench, remove the threaded fitting from the left front flex hose. Remove the left front line from the vehicle. At the front of the left front wheel well, cut the right front brake line using a pair of cutting pliers. Remove the rear section of the right front line from the vehicle. Using a 15mm socket, remove the bolts that secure the plastic lower cover and remove the cover from the vehicle. Remove the threaded fitting from the right front flex hose using a 13mm wrench. Using a flat blade screwdriver, remove the right front brake line from the plastic clips along the frame. Remove the front section of the right front line from the vehicle. At the front of the fuel tank, remove the two fuel line connections by pressing in on the two tabs and lifting up on the locking clip. Have a drain pan ready, as any fuel left in the line would be lost at this time. Remove the fuel cap and using a 7mm socket, remove the 3 screws that secure the filler neck. Remove the ground wire from the frame using a 10mm wrench. Pull the filler neck down and use a flat blade screwdriver to remove the rear differential vent tube. Underneath the vehicle, remove the vent valve from the fuel tank by pushing in on the plastic clip and sliding the valve to the left. Remove the plastic clip securing the wiring harness to the fuel tank. Using a 13mm socket, remove the 4 bolts securing the plastic fuel tank cover. Remove the plastic cover from the vehicle. Remove the 2 vent tubes going to the charcoal canister by pressing in on the 2 tabs to remove them. Support the fuel tank and remove the 2 fuel tank straps using a 15mm socket. Remove the straps from the vehicle. Lower the fuel tank, making sure to route the filler neck over the frame. Once the tank is low enough to access the top, remove the 2 electrical connectors from the sending unit. Remove the fuel tank from underneath the vehicle. Use a 12mm wrench to remove the threaded fitting from the top of the rear flex hose over the rear axle. Remove the rear extension line from the clips along the frame. Use a pair of cutting pliers to cut the rear line at the center. Remove the front and rear sections of the rear extension line from the vehicle. Use a 14mm wrench to remove the 2 threaded fittings from the rear flex hose union on the rear axle. Use the 13mm socket to remove the metal bracket at the rear axle and remove the bracket from the brake line. Use a flat blade screwdriver to remove the 4 plastic brackets from the rear axle. Use a 12mm wrench to remove the threaded fittings from both rear wheel cylinders. Remove both rear axle lines from the vehicle. To begin the installation of your new LinesToGo stainless steel brake lines, start by installing the line labeled 01 into position. Start the rear threaded fitting into the forward-facing outboard port on the ABS module. Start the fitting at the other end of the line into the rear port in the master cylinder and tighten both fittings using a 13mm wrench. Next, install the LinesToGo line labeled 02 into position. Start the rear fitting into the forward-facing inboard port on the ABS module. Start the front fitting into the front port in the ABS module and tighten both fittings using a 13mm wrench. Next, install the LinesToGo line labeled 03 into position. Start the rear fitting into the top outboard port in the ABS module and tighten using a 13mm wrench. Start the front fitting into the left front flex hose and tighten using a 13mm wrench. Next, install the LinesToGo line labeled 04A into position. Start the rear threaded fitting into the top center port in the ABS module. Next, install the line labeled 04B into position and secure it into the plastic clips along the frame. Start the threaded fitting into the right front flex hose and tighten using a 13mm wrench. Inside of the left front wheel well, start the threaded union noting the LinesToGo color-coded connection and tighten using a 13mm and a 14mm wrench. Next, install the front section of the rear extension line labeled 05A into position and start the threaded fitting into the top inboard port in the ABS module. Next, install the LinesToGo line labeled 05B into position and start the rear threaded fitting into the top of the rear flex hose. Start the threaded union noting the LinesToGo color-coded connection and tighten using a 13mm and a 14mm wrench. Tighten the fitting in the ABS module using a 13mm wrench and the fitting in the flex hose using a 14mm wrench. Next, install the LinesToGo line labeled 06A into position and start the threaded fittings into the rear flex hose union and the left rear wheel cylinder. Tighten the fitting in the wheel cylinder using a 10mm wrench and the fitting in the flex hose union using a 14mm wrench. Next, install the LinesToGo line labeled 06B into position and start the threaded fittings into the rear flex hose union and the right rear wheel cylinder. Tighten the fitting in the wheel cylinder using a 10mm wrench and the fitting in the flex hose union using a 14mm wrench. Install the metal bracket removed from the old line and secure it using a 13mm socket. Replace the plastic brackets onto the rear axle. Begin to raise the fuel tank into position until you can reconnect the two electrical connectors on the sending unit. Continue to raise the fuel tank into position, making sure to feed the filler neck over the frame. Install the fuel tank straps and tighten using a 15mm socket. Replace the plastic lower cover onto the fuel tank and replace the 4 bolts using a 13mm socket. Replace the ground wire using a 10mm wrench. Secure the differential vent tube back onto the filler neck and raise the filler neck into position. Replace the vent valve onto the rear of the fuel tank. Connect the 2 vent lines on the passenger side of the fuel tank. Connect the pressure and vapor lines at the front of the fuel tank. Using a 7mm socket, tighten the 3 screws that secure the filler neck into position. Using an 8mm and a 10mm wrench, bleed all 4 wheels, making sure the master cylinder reservoir stays topped up. Install both front inner fenders and secure them using the plastic push clips. Replace the screws using a 7mm socket and a Phillips screwdriver for the top and rear of the fender and a 10mm socket for the front. Replace the front lower plastic cover using a 15mm socket. Install all 4 wheels and torque to the manufacturer's specifications using a 22mm socket. Reconnect the battery using a 10mm socket. This concludes the installation of stainless steel brake lines on a 2008 GMC Sierra using LinesToGo part number BLC-218-SS. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or would like to purchase the lines you saw today, please call us at 1-855-781-5992. Email us at info@linestogo.com or check out our website link below. And don't forget to take advantage of our free 2-day shipping. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button below, and we will see you on our next video.